But yeah, on that note, we're going to see if it really does work out. We are going to take a short break. When we return, Challenge Challengers, APSB bot, match point, going over to Challenge Challengers. Stay tuned.
You do see No Excuse coming in from the back. Reese's Feast is going to start to engage on this. Tuberculosis is going to flash away, but No Excuse is going to be able to catch up to him and give Mundo that much needed first blood.
He has a pretty strong...
But it looks like Mage Core is going to start to get engaged on by Chetty. Chetty is low on mana. Mage Core is going to use the barrier. Both barriers pop. Chetty's going to start to retreat. He doesn't have any mana. It's going to start to auto attack, but they're definitely in the driver's seat of this one. Do you see that? Oh, Grumpy gets knocked out. He's sleeping trouble bubble. A good close up caster try to hit uppercut. Grumpy flashes the mastery for a little bit extra EM. Grumpy, no way to be able to escape. Just kill him. Oh, and every time oh, No Excuses. Engage on a Grumpy, and he's gonna look like he's gonna be able to splashes the mastery to pick up the double kill.
They may be able to get a pick on him or on this Fiddlesticks.
They'll be able to start to engage on the Galaxy Supernova. Looks like Ardurso actually gets caught out from a Pike Q and stunned. See that Nocturne is going to start to use his ultimate to engage onto the Pike. Pike's going to be dropped low. He's not going to be able to. He's going to be able to keep him in line. Ramen is still going to try to go for the engage. Well, hey, there, Lucid is going to come in with the Rise.
They're just poking each other.
Oh no, but actually Doc is going to try a good pull to avoid the charge from the Doc. Will that Hemo Blade be enough to take him out? Rise actually is a comeback up. Here is going to proc out, and one more turret shot down as
well.
Oh, but we see that looks like Darso is going to try to avenge Durso. He's going to actually start to engage on himself. Vladimir is actually going to be in the middle of the fight, throwing out a ton of damage. Looks like 2 will fall for the side of Uwu, but looks like Rise is able to get out of there in time. But looks like
it doesn't drop the top if they can get the kill.
We see Durso coming in and going to be able to stopwatch and stay alive. Very Loco is going to get caught in the middle of that. Durso actually goes down. They are able to pick up the kill on the Rift Herald, but now Rise is going to go down. Barely lucky, taking out the Sejuani. He's going to be able to pop more damage. Ramen is still trying to fight. What looks like actually it comes out to the full combo, but you also get, looks like Goldcraft tried to go on the engage on the Mage Core, actually gets ultimated into low zone, but now we see Goldcraft almost getting taken out by Mage Core, and No Excuse showing himself so much in the map, so much junk control as No Excuse is going to start to engage onto Goldcraft. See that No Excuse is going to start to go onto Goldcraft. Gunslinger is going to be able to find the Saving Trouble bubble. Is going to be using the Lamb's Respite to keep himself alive. Goldcraft dropping low. He's going to flash out. Gold Excuse almost being able to get out of there alive. Now an ultimate out here in the fight bot. And a fight here at top with Tuberculosis. Man, he's able to find it, but now Fancy Parts comes and TP's a good knockup. Takes out the Lamb without any sort of engagement, but looks like Orin himself finding himself dead. Now Downstar dies as Fancy Parts going to start to channel all of the Forge God. Throws it onto the Ori, but she has spell shield to protect her. Now Morgana is going to try to come in. It stays alive, but a good ultimate from Oriana picks 3 of them and another 2 deaths. 3 deaths on the side of Team 7 as Dalsinor is being dropped low. But looks like you're not going to be able to get away today. Code can't possibly protect this. Fancy Bar does channel all the Forge God to try to slow the inevitable, but is going to be chunked down and taken in by the Air God. That'll end land this fight coming out to do a little bit of damage, and it looks like another game picked up for Challengers here in the semifinals. We see Azure Fire is going to start to jump onto Mage Core. The AR pick up the kill, but Mage Core loses her life. Might be seeing a little bit of engagement from Wolfie coming onto the fish, but doesn't able to pick up the kill. Azure dropping really low. The TPs are going to come out to try to protect. A lot of damage going out. Tuberculosis showing his face going on to red. Ruling North is going to try to come out and help. Mage Core also throwing out the distance, able to put a lot of damage. But still, Teach is starting to take tower. He's going to be dropped low and taken out. The ultimate from Lulinar took down so low. There he's so close to land. Best fight coming out to stay himself alive. He's going to be able to come out on the top. Azure Fire is going to be able to not be able actually to take a kill. And now...
And we are back and ready to hit the Rift. AP Sejuani bot versus the Challenge Challengers. And one thing we have to point out, that's a Conqueror Jinx that we're seeing come into the game.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if that's intentional or not. I believe this is the first time I've ever seen Conqueror Jinx. I've been primarily seeing by the people who are picking up Jinx, they're either going with the fleet footwork or the lethal tempo mastery. I do want to comment, though, she did choose to go to the Resolve secondary into the brand matchup, which does make it a little bit easier getting that regen from second wind, but we could see a bit of an invade coming in here.
Yeah, already getting caught out. His bubbly buddy, but he has nothing much to worry about. It's actually Ult the Clone who should be worried. Swain can be kind of a spooky dude.
Yeah, it was an even damage trade in the end, but he does get a soul fragment, so I guess Bubble Buddy technically wins.
No, that's the game-winning play right there, Primus.
Yeah, you never know. That one soul fragment he got means he's going to hit level 6 with 5 soul fragments, and he's going to blow up Raze.
It's the butterfly effect.
Yes. So both teams will have a general idea on where the enemy jungler is starting. So it's going to be curious to see whether or not the Bear is going to try to go for the bot lane scuttle once again, which he ended up giving over first blood to Alcaroth. And there's that fun matchup up in that top lane that Ulta Clone's going to have to deal with.
Fun and interactive.
Until he pretty much gets a Sheen. Once he gets a Sheen, he has enough lifesteal that he can do okay. But up until that Sheen buy, he just really cannot do much of anything in this lane.
Yeah, a little bit of a sticky situation for him, but he's the one that drafted himself into this, so you gotta have a bit of confidence, I suppose. Either that or just outright ignorance.
I mean, he performed extremely well on the Renekton. Like, I will honestly say that based on the previous performance, Ult the Clone is quite a strong player, but the issue is, I don't know if he's a strong enough player to win a matchup that's as rough as this.
Yeah. But only time will tell. We do see a bit of an invade coming out from No Excuse, setting his sights on the Bear, looking to steal out that Raptor camp, but he's brought back up. Raze is here. The smite going over to the Bear. And a nice never move gets both Raze and the Bear. A little bit of a rotation coming out from Tuberculosis, but not going to see much else other than a fight over a Raptor.
And unfortunately, that victory goes over to Bear. So already a much better early game for Bear in this game than in the last game. But he does still lose out on his red buff. I like that play coming in from No Excuse. He's on the Trundle. He has the early game advantage and pretty much the advantage throughout the game into the Sejuani. He might as well take advantage of that, get what advantages he can. I do want to look down back to this bottom lane, and Epic Sax chose to go with Airy on Brand, which I'm personally not a fan of. I go Comet Brand when I play Brand support, as they're just going to see some trading in the mid lane. Raze is out of mana, but the Airing is guaranteed damage. It's very strong in laning phase because you can double proc it with your passive. But the issue is that it doesn't scale extremely well with your damage as Brand. And I'm going to be keeping an eye on him as we're going to see a little bit of a trade. It's starting to get that point. Ult the Clone starting to get a little bit more points in a Siphoning Strike. He does have a gank coming in the mid lane onto Bubbly. He's out of mana.
Yeah, but he does get the flash over the wall. They choose not to go on with that attack.
Yeah, he had the cleanse available, but no CC landed, so doesn't really want to expend that summoner spell. But as I said, I'm going to be keeping an eye on Sax's build to see exactly what he's going to go with, because there's kind of two schools of thought with the Brand support, as we're just seeing more glorious trading up in this top lane. Is either you go the old Brand support route, which is where you get your Haunting guys, you go into your Landrys, you get your Rylai's, and go from there. Or you go with the Magic Pen build, which is what I'm a personal fan of, is you get your early pen boots, you get your Oblivion Orb, so you're sitting at 33 Magic Pen at something like 18 minutes into the game when 80 carries have maybe 40 MR. So you're essentially doing true damage as Brand, as Tuberculosis is still struggling
He's
up
getting
in
a
this
little bit too
matchup. But the
close here,
knockup!
and there's the first blood, and really disrespect coming out of Tuberculosis, feeling way too confident in that 1v1 matchup that he's not even watching his own health. He's not even watching the minion wave, and that's what really led to that.
Yeah, it was just a... Okay, so the setup to all that is Tuberculosis had the early shove, got the wave into tower, which allowed him to roam to that play onto the Raptors, as we're seeing a mother trade in the bottom lane. Alcaroth is not going to enjoy that trade, but it's the going.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Epic Sax Gandalf can't really do too much about this. Down goes Kiora, and down goes both. Bot lane annihilated AP Sej. Unfortunate for them, but it looks like another Alcaroth game.
Yes, but both kills did go over to No Excuse, who does secure the double kill in the end. So not the early gold going over to Alcaroth like we saw in the last game.
Yeah, but this does take away a lot of farm as this wave crashes into the tower. You already see the CS differential, but Bubble Buddy and the Bear gonna fight this one out. The Bear doesn't really have anywhere else to go. He needs to flash away. Able to get that flash just in time. The stun coming out from the Flash Frost Raze gets the wall up beautifully. Here comes Kiora. Bubble Buddy trying to run away from this one. Gets a lot of damage in. There goes the Never Move. There goes the pop, and down goes the Stink Rat.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bubble Buddy had, I believe, was sitting on 4 or 5 soul fragments when that ult started, and that's just a massive amount of damage to really deal with. And you're an AD carry. You have a very low health pool. You're really not in a position to walk up to a Swain and think you can kill the Swain at level 4.
You can't blame him a little bit just from seeing that health, but it's deceiving, especially when the Ascension is on. And ultimately, deception worked.
Yeah, and this is the point in the lane that it starts to favor Ult the Clone. He has a Sheen, plus he got that early solo kill, which shouldn't have happened, but just a little bit of a misplay coming out of Tuberculosis. He's still going to be Ornn, though. He's still going to be useful in team fights, like pretty much regardless of what happens during the laning phase. It's just how many stacks and how much gold is Ult the Clone going to get on this Nasus, because if he hits critical mass Nasus, that's a lot of tongue twisters all at the same time, which in my opinion, critical mass Nasus is you hit 350 stacks at 20 minutes. That's critical mass Nasus, because you're hitting mid game with pretty much 700 damage Qs on squishies because of the passive from your E due to the armor shred. And that's absolutely terrifying, because at that point in the game, you're doing half an 80 carries health.
We're seeing a little bit of an exchange go down on this bot side. Out goes the rocket, unable to land. Kiora thinks he can fight this one out, but that's a very unwise decision as Alcaroth asserts dominance once again. But look at the top side. We do see a potential gank coming out of the Bear. They're looking to make a dive. Out goes called the Forge God, but the ultimate absolutely denies that, and down he goes once again.
Yeah, Ult the Clone does fall extremely low on the backside. That was an excellent ultimate coming out of Bear to stop the re-engage with the Call of the Forge God, because had he been able to proc that, that's probably a dead Ult the Clone, given the damage coming in, plus that pretty much might dissuade the gank entirely. We did see No Excuse rotate in the mid lane, trying to make a play onto Raze, who is still hanging tough in terms of CS, but I'm still waiting for him to actually have an impact in either of these games.
Yeah. It's not been too fun for him so far. Bubble has been doing quite well on every pick he's gotten. And so far, he's looking to continue that trend. Raze doing nothing too out of the ordinary. The CS going slightly in favor of Bubble Buddy, but the real story of this matchup has been towards the top lane. We have another time bomb situation, but this time it's working in favor of Ult the Clone. It was supposed to be a counter matchup where Tuberculosis wins, but now that's completely null and void because this is firmly in the hands of Ult the Clone. We're going to see if any retaliation could come out of No Excuse.
Yeah, it's at the point in the matchup where also Tuberculosis is actually not building for lane, which I think is a massive mistake as a little bit of a trade down in the bottom lane. Is he honestly needed to rush a Brando Vest and Ninja Tabbies, not a Catalyst and a Mana Crystal? That's just very disrespectful.
No, disrespectful indeed, and it could result in very much the end of him repeatedly in this lane. And ultimately, it looks like first tower will eventually go over to Ult the Clone if this aggro that he's asserting is not tempered anytime soon.
Yes, but we could see another play around the bottom side of the map. We have another invade coming in from Excuse.
Yeah, No Excuse gets hit by the Glacial Prison. Lots of damage onto him, but he's fine so far. Backup is coming. Can they find the kills they need to? Being able to get the Dark Binding as well as the Soul Shackles, but they delete APOC in the process. Demonic Ascension is going out, needs to get the pop for it, can't get the ultimate off, and that's an exchange that goes firmly in the hands of AP Sejuani Bot.
Yeah, unfortunately, we did not see Bubble Buddy investing into the inspiration tree to have that stopwatch available, because if he has stopwatch, he gets his R2 off and with Super Mega Deflect actually wasn't available. With Alcaroth there, as we're going to see Ult the Clone once again getting first tower solo gold. He's just dominating this matchup, but can he actually impact the team fights, or can he impact the map the way to allow AP Sejuani Bot to force a third game? Because again, it's the same story. We saw first tower on the top lane. Once again, we see a Mountain Drake going over to the side of Challengers.
This is going to be absolutely terrifying at this point. Ult the Clone's on the champion that he can carry. You're talking about impact the map. That's exactly what he is going to do. He's going to stick to the split push, get as much farm as possible. And when his team finally needs him, when he's done tearing down inhibitors and nexuses, he might just teleport into a team fight or two.
Yeah, and stat count is somewhere in the 190s right now for Ult the Clone. We're going to keep an eye on that. So pretty good pace. You kind of want to be at that 100 or like you once you get more CDR. He's currently sitting at about 20% CDR right now. So not quite to the stacking every CS in terms of CDR yet, but it's definitely something we're going to keep an eye on because he's getting closer and closer to that all-important mark, and Alcaroth actually already has his Storm Laser completed.
Yeah, very good point for him, but he's still got to be careful because Epic Sass Gandalf was able to get a lot of damage before that fight. Out goes the spray and pray. Kiora takes a little bit of damage. He's going to be okay with that one because it should kick Alcaroth out of the lane. If not, Epic Sax might have a response to that, but still in the bot side, no response to Ult the Clone. Even the bear coming over. Out goes the Glacial Prison. Tuberculosis is getting locked up once again, sent straight to the graveyard as if it was jail. Ult the Clone, the police officer. But
yeah,
once again,
on the other side of the map, though.
Yeah, a lot of damage on the No Excuse. He's pretty fine with this. He wants to go for the dive. It might be a little bit more than he could chew. Out goes the Dark Binding, gonna land onto Kiora. Okay, Bubble Buddy wants to return with another kill, trying to get the pop, can't seem to find it. Epico gets damage in, but falls to the tower in the process, and down finally goes Epic Sax Gandalf. But look at this pressure going in the top lane. They're already on the Nexus tower. Alcaroth here too far forward, goes down to Ult the Clone. There is no response to this Nasus.
Yes, but he does get a kill back in trade with the respawns coming in. They are going to force him off this tower. They're going to lose mid lane to your tier 1 here as well. So okay, Bubble Buddy, he's getting these roams off, but it's being punished heavily by Raze, who's really just been, I'm gonna sit in the mid lane the entire game, I'm gonna farm. For each of these last 2 games, he's going with a very scale heavy build. He's going into that row a second. He's probably not going to finish that until about 18, 19 minutes. So you're going to be looking at a 30-minute Roa. And that's a lot of scaling on the side of AP Sejuani. But the issue is that if they can't get to Alcaroth, it's not honestly going to matter how much scaling you have, because this Jinx will kill everyone on your team.
But a real thing to point out, though, is the 15-minute Trinity Force with completed boots and a Kindle Gem on top of that, coming out of Alt the Clone. That is terrifying. Alcaroth may never even really get to fight Alt the Clone, because this is still kind of a pseudo laning phase going on. The roams are just starting to happen, and Alt the Clone's already onto an inhibitor tower.
Yes, but the question is if they keep him in that lane, he's leaving himself exposed. They're not giving him a ton of vision coverage to continue shoving. I know they haven't made any plays up around him. As we are saying that, though,
there goes the Glacial Prison. No excuse. Getting punished with this one thus far. Bubble Buddy over the wall. Out goes Call of the Forge God, but can he get it out in time? Able to get it out, but dies in the process. And the pressure is still too immense. Tuberculosis is nothing but dead weight at this point.
Yeah, he just hasn't really had a good series against Alt the Clone, and I really do like the constant pressure we've seen from Bear this game, because this pressure around topside really kind of slacked off in the last game, but he's kept it constant and just constantly sitting in Alt the Clone's back pocket, because he's essentially their win condition at this point.
Yeah. And meanwhile, on the other side of the map, the challengers, weird.
They have Alcaroth.
Alcaroth, yeah, he's their win condition, and it's the same thing we saw in game one, except Alt the Clone is now a viable late game win condition, but out goes the fight. Epic Sex Gandalf takes a lot of punishment, and he eventually goes down. Soul Shackle's gonna go out, and Kiora does not have enough damage to deal with that, and Alcaroth popping off once again.
Yes, we did see Raze losing his flash in the middle lane. We do still have Alt the Clone pushing in the top side. We're going to see this blue buff actually get stolen by No Excuse, I think. Little cheeky little smite there. And again, I still question Tuberculosis just not building a Bramble Vest. He's going for an Iceborne Gauntlet.
Yeah, you know, that one kind of just goes over my head. I'm trying to figure out the pieces here, but I'm at a loss. Tuberculosis.
No, I figured it out. He's an auto-filled top laner who finds out all of his builds from MOBA Fire and builds them every game without any adaptation whatsoever.
Is MOBA Fire still a thing?
I think it is technically.
Oh, goodness.
But yeah, we are going to see a group up around this Infernal once again. But Excuses actually did back. So they do have a window where they could rush this down if their AP Sejuani bot, but they don't know. Oh, but Alt the Clone is here.
This is a very weird situation to come out. Kiora takes a lot of punishment now. With that ADC running low, it does put an advantage towards the challenge.
He does have Blade, though. He does have some sustain. So if he can get access to this wave, he should be able to get back up to about 75% HP. The key to this fight is can Alt get onto Alcaroth. No. That is the key.
No, this is not the wise choice to make. You still want to go with the split push type setup. The team fight is breaking out. The Bear getting punished, getting bullied out. Alt the Clone goes in, but he's in the middle of 4 members. It's down. Here he goes. Shut down. Annihilated. Kiora finally dropping in the process. Out goes the Flash Ross. Able to pick up 1 in redemption, but No Excuse fighting it out with the Bear. The Bear is going to drop in that situation, and No Excuse the troll. He's on a rampage at the moment. Kiora wants to get but he's going to drop for it. No, he gets away just in time, but he can't save the bird. Kiora on the run, only sole survivor left from his team, and this is what we were talking about. Alt the Clone, he can't look to team fight this early. He can't go in by himself, and that is a demonstration of the challengers really starting to pop off.
Yeah, they couldn't get to Alcaroth. The ultimates couldn't get onto him to lock him up. That is the key. Yes, Excuses is absolutely massive on this Trundle, because honestly he is unkillable, because he ults the bear on Sejuani and he automatically spikes up to like 200 armor and MR, and what are you going to do to that Trundle while he's beating your face and with his Titanic Hydra? Like, he just buys so much zone and safety control that they can't actually get onto Alcaroth, and if they can't do that, I don't think they can win this game. Other than trying to AFK split push. Like, that is their only opportunity right now.
Honestly, it was way too early to get Alt the Clone to start going for these team fight situations. It's not what Nasus really excels in until you're in the very, very late game. But Rift
unless he can get a flank.
Yeah, unless,
which he didn't. He was walking straight in toward the enemy team, and he's not critical mass. They're trying to use Rift Herald the zone for Baron. They have Brand. They have a Blade of the Rune King, but TP coming in from tuberculosis.
Yeah, no excuse in the front line, duking it out, getting off a lot of damage. Out goes the Glacial Prisoner, able to pick up one so far. And Call the Forge God gets two, raised critically low. Epic sets. Look at the Baron. The Baron is low. It looks like they're going to forfeit it over. And there's the flash over the wall. The Bear able to steal what he had leashed, but they still lose 3 in the process. Pick up 2, but they get the Baron.
But unfortunately, it is not on their split pushing Nasus. That is the biggest result from that. They do still have it on Raze. They do still have it on Kiora. But if you're going to go for that play, I feel like you have to have Nasus live, because Nasus with Baron, unless they're sending 3 people, will kill an inhibitor by himself.
Oh my goodness, what a desperation call. And you got to give it to the Bear. He forfeited that initially, flashed over the wall, and still secured it back. It was such a silly play, but goodness, did it work.
To be honest, if he didn't Arctic Assault over the wall, he would have died, and they would have lost the Baron. So I actually think it was the right decision to go for it. It looks funny, but I actually think that's the way he needed to play it.
Yeah.
It just looks a little weird. So we have the Roa almost completed onto Raze. He's going to finish that fully stacked up at about 26 minutes. Let's see. He's still about 100 away from his Seraphs being completed. Yeah, you have 2 items on your Twitch. I don't know who wins this.
The one with more teammates, because here comes Alcaraz, here comes Apico, and it's a lot of damage onto this Nasus. Once again, they are going to pick him off, but here comes the flank coming out of Kiora. Kiora taking a lot of damage. Out goes that Storm Razor damage, really chucking away at Kiora, but Apico able to get the Dark Binding. Down goes Kiora in the process, and they choose not to go for the re-engage. Instead, they just take the victory, walk away with it. 1-for-2 exchange in favor of the challengers.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a slow play at first, but they get the kill advantage, but they're not able to get any objectives after it. That's kind of the crucial point, because the gold's still extremely close. And with the team composition that the side of AP Sejuani Bot have drafted, you have Twitch and you have Brand and you have Anivia. That is an immense amount of team fight pressure that just needs one team fight to go well, and your whole team dies.
Which is really, at this point, easier said than done. They've been struggling this entire game. Just the early game went so well for them, but they didn't transition into the mid game that well. So in this late game phase, using those powerful skills that both the Anivia and Brand brings, it's going to be so crucial you get it onto the right targets.
Yeah, you have to get it onto the back line, and when you have, a Jinx who already has an Infinity Edge completed, you don't have a very beefy front line that's just gonna absolutely melt to the amount of damage that Jinx is putting out. Plus, she has Conqueror on top of it, which,
Just wanted some KFC, walks away right after.
He decided that the Anivia wasn't a very good tasting bird, and he wanted a refund, but they wouldn't give it to him.
Yeah, team fight. It's imminent at this point. Outgoes and never
Tuberculosis
They're
is
able
in
to
a good
catch
spot.
out the bear. The bear is half health. Ult the clone in the front side. Outgoes Call of the Forge God, and the flank of Call of the Forge God coming up big. But look at the Pyroclasm, gets off a lot of damage. Still, though, it looks like it's a favor of Challengers as Ult the clone trying to run away from this one. One more shot will do it. Down he goes, and once again, Challengers are in the driver's seat, and they're loving it.
Yeah, just they can't get to Alcaraz. Like that, I hate to say it, but that's literally what's happening every team fight. Is Alcaraz is sitting there at 75 to 80% HP when all the cooldowns are expended, and it's just like, oh, I can go kill everyone now. Great. But they do still have Raze on the Sandivia, who has a lot of wave clear. But
yeah, they had him. Now he's long gone, not destined for this world whatsoever. As the push continues, respawn timers are up for both the Bear, Kiora, and Epic Saxical. They're going to back off this one, and wise choice to make.
yes, they do lose a tier 2. They lose the Drake. It's not really looking too great. They're not like I don't know what AP Sejuani bot can do to really try to right this game, is because you almost have a Flame Horizon in your 80 carry CS, and I just feel like Kiora, I just feel like the side of AP Sejuani bot does not have the same level of minion management that we're seeing from challengers, because outside of the top lane, everyone else has a pretty healthy amount of CS, because you're looking at 190 for your jungler, 160 for your mid, 250 for your 80 carry, while everyone on the other side is well below 200 CS. And the closest one to that is the Anivia, who you expect to be well beyond that at this point.
Yeah. The name of the game at this point is just catch Alcaraz. And it's been so difficult for them to find that Bach line, but here we go. The fight engaged onto Alt, and he's not going to survive for much longer. Outgoes Call of the Forge God, but Kiora gets a lot of damage onto No Excuse, able to find that kill. 1-for-1 exchange so far. Bubble Buddy goes forward, misses the never move. He's trying to find Kiora, but can't seem to land the shots he needs to. Still, though, damage going on to Gandalf. Gandalf getting punished, getting destroyed. Kiora has been uncontested in this fight, but here comes Alcaraz running right in. He's excited, and he wants blood as he searches for the chicken, finds the kill, and once again, Alcaraz is popping off, baby.
Yeah, they just can't kill him. Is his positioning? I don't know it. Okay, I think it's a two-edged sword. I think AP Sejuani bot isn't adequately using their resources to kill him. B, his positioning has been utterly fantastic in almost every team fight. So it's a double-edged sword. Is they're not able to get Kiora stealthing into assassination position onto the Jinx, because that's really why you pick the Twitch. Is the Twitch always has that threat to stealth in and kill the Jinx, but the issue is that's no longer a viable option until Twitch hits his Infinity Edge, and even then, you have a 4.5 item Jinx. Like, I don't know if Twitch actually wins that duel.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that last team fight was battle of whose front line could stay alive the longest. Once the front line for AP Sejuani bot was gone, then you saw Alcaraz is like, all right, I'm taking out this rat. This is my kill to take, and 3 shots is all it took for Kiora to go down.
Yeah, they do have a little bit of favorable positioning around this Baron, because they were able to get the inside track with the mid lane shoving in. However, Challengers does have the Scuttle Crab, so they do have vision. Baron is available. We're looking at about 2 minutes for the next Drake starts, which is a air Drake, which would be 4 elemental drakes for the Elder Dragon, which will be roughly spawning around the 38-minute mark. Assuming the game goes that long.
This is scary right here. Bubble Buddy has been just looking for pick after pick. It's very hard to deal with that Swain once you get CC'd and the damage to follow.
I don't know why Kiora is just not farming. Like, he needs to get his Infinity Edge because he's not going to do anything in team fights until he gets that item.
Honestly, I'm not a fan of that Executioner's Calling being picked up when he's so far behind and needs just raw damage. It's not really helping his team as much as you would think. And the Baron Call,
because the only one who has healing is...
Can the bear do it?
Yes. Can the bear
over the wall? He's unable to find it. Look on the other side. Bubble Buddy looking to get a lot of damage in, trying to get the flank. Has to go golden to be able to survive the onslaught that follows. Lots of damage going out, but he eventually does fall. Now here come the Rockets, the pain. Alcaraz, the quarterback of this team, bringing it to AP Sejuani bot as the teleport coming out from Tuberculosis focus on this bot lane inhibitor tower. Meanwhile, Alcaraz sets his sights on the top lane inner, and with two members in the mid lane, the pressure is just too immense, and AP Sejuani look like it's an inevitability for them to collapse.
Clean up him. You called him the quarterback. He's not the quarterback. He's the freaking cleaner at this point. He's just like, okay, guys, just go in, get them all low. I'll come in and kill everyone. This is going to be a double inhibitor, possibly even a triple inhibitor coming down as no excuse. Is actually, I think, almost the highest level in the game. I don't know whether or not Altacon's a higher level. It's this guy is just an absolute unsung monster in the jungle. Like, we're giving a lot of credit to Alcaraz, who's playing out of his mind, but no excuse is doing a ton of work in the jungle role in both of these games.
Yeah, you really have to give it to him, especially having the Trundle pick. Alt the clone can't do much when the Subjugate lands onto him. That lets Alcaraz pop off all he wants. They're working in tandem. They have the synergy. This team altogether has really good synergy with the way they're working. Despite their shortcomings early on, they have come together as a cohesive unit, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, they can team fight extremely well, but I still say the biggest thing that they need to do, like, is not watch the bear take red buff. That should be going to Kiora, but, you know, it's minor details. But
he needs EXP, man.
But
those auto slows, he's in the front.
But he needs to be looking at trying to solidify Tuberculosis in the top lane, because he has not looked good in laning phase in either of these two games.
Yeah.
I mean, he's absorbed a lot of pressure in both games, don't get me wrong, but he died solo both games. In the first game, he died solo multiple times. Yeah, and this should just be the final push, though.
Oh, they're going on to an engage. No excuse. Takes a lot of punishment. Subjugate's going to go out. Going to keep him alive. Going to make him tanky. But here comes the flank coming out of Bubble Buddy. Lots of damage. There goes the pop. And here comes Alcaraz. And that it just went as expected. Call the Forge God. Only going to set up the inevitable as the Nexus tower falls. The Nexus is next in a 2-0 sweep to come out of the challengers.
They're not looking very challenged here today. But they did have some hiccups early on. As I mentioned, Tuberculosis had some struggles in the early laning phase. But the thing is that when they assemble all the pieces of their Millennium puzzle of their team, it just works. It doesn't matter how little gold Tuberculosis has. He's able to execute in team fights. He's able to buy the zone and buy the space for Alcaraz just to kill everyone. And no excuse on this jungle is not someone to sleep on. He was the highest level in the game for a majority of the game. Alcaraz hitting level 18 at the very end. But no excuse, and Alcaraz are a two-headed monster that it's going to be really curious to see if what anyone in this league is going to be able to stand up to those two.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And you got to give it to Tuberculosis. Even though he fed early, he was on a champ that was good no matter what. He became an alt bot. He became a CC machine, and they used that exceptionally well. And it was beautiful to see this team come together and dominate AP Sejuani bot.
Yeah, it just didn't go very well for AP Sejuani Bot in both games. Like, they had good spots, they had good fights in both games, but the issue is they weren't able to string any level of consistency to get to the backline and threaten the enemy team's AD carry, in this case, Alcaraz. Is he free hit in both games? I think his combined KDA is like 40 something between the two games, because I think he had like a 31 KDA in this game and he probably had like a 20 KDA in the last one. So like, he was absolutely ridiculous, but his team bought himself so much zone control.
Yeah.
If you are AP Sejuani Bot, I'd say you stick with your top lane plan, but just let Alt do whatever he wants. Don't make him team fight, let him sit in the side lane and just be a split pusher, because I think that's your biggest opportunity to have a win condition, because I have a lot of question marks about both Raze and Kiora as carry threats, but I have no questions about Alt.
Yeah, and then on top of that, they really need to rework their draft and the order they bring out these picks, and not try and set themselves up in a situation where they're kind of like counter picking themselves. In this case, you know how strong Alcaraz is, and you put him with Apico on the Morgana. You need to switch up your draft to be a little bit more safe, especially when you don't feel that comfortable going that aggro. And Alcaraz pops off, Kiora goes down. Same story in both games.
Yeah, it was just a little bit unfortunate. I was hoping for, like, both games were competitive, but I felt like there wasn't a situation in the game where I honestly thought that challengers would actually could lose the game.
Yeah.
Because, yes, you had the super fed Nasus, but it's just like we saw it in the last game. Altacombe got really, really fed. He tries to team fight. It doesn't go very well. They give up the split push because they lose priority, because they lose those 20 to 25-minute team fights, and they can't take control back.
But that's the key term right there. He tried to team fight. He was on champions that have no place team fighting, especially in the mid game. You know, Nasus is supposed to just push away, get the stacks, 500 stacks. All right, I'm going to go one-shot the ADC eventually. Instead, he didn't keep up the working strategy, which was the split push. And a lot of that was due to pressure in other lanes not going so well. But because he wasn't able to commit to that, he would show up to the team fight, flash through 5 guys, and those 5 guys, well, it's not burgers and fries. You ain't eating there. He gets annihilated.
Yeah, Ray's just... Okay, so at least with Kiora, I saw him doing things. For Raze, I feel like I never actually saw him doing anything in either game. Like, I just felt like, yes, he had a fairly high number of assists in both games, but I felt like there really wasn't a situation where I thought, oh, this is a chance where he could pop off. There just never was that chance. I just felt like he was just there.
Yeah.
But yeah. I have to ask, though. I know who my MVP choice is for the series, but who is your MVP choice?
That is a tough one. And as much as I want to give it to No Excuse, Alcaraz had the best positioning and best utilization of any advantage. His 2v2 was beautiful. His positioning, great. The micro, the macro, it was immaculate. I got to give it to Alcaraz.
I would definitely have to echo that sentiment, but definitely a strong honorable mention to No Excuses in both games. I believe he was second in CS on his team in both games. Like, the dude is a monster in that jungle role, but I think that's it for today for us.
Yeah, that's going to sum it up. It was a pretty good day of games. Challengers. I always have to think every time I say that name. Congratulations, you definitely deserve that victory. But for the casting desk over here, I'm Deserux. This is my co-caster, Primus. And do you have any closing statements, Primus?
This was our first go-round here with some new setup. I hope everyone enjoyed both the casting and our lovely graphics that are behind the scenes people put together for us here, and we'll have more of them in the future.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time, and take care.
At something like 18 minutes into the game, when 80 carries have maybe 40 MR. So you're essentially doing true damage as Brand, as Tuberculosis is still struggling up in this matchup. But the knockup!
There's the first blood, and really disrespect coming out of Tuberculosis. We're seeing a little bit of an exchange go down on this bot side. Out goes the rocket, unable to land. Kiora thinks he can fight this one out, but that's a very unwise decision as Alcaroth asserts dominance. One coming. Can they find the kills they need to? Being able to get the Dark Binding as well as the Soul Shackles, but they delete APOC in the process. Demonic Ascension is going out, needs to get the pop for it, can't get the ultimate off, and now Ulticlone goes in, but he's in the middle of 4 members. It's down. Here he goes. Shut down. Annihilated. Kiora finally dropping in the process. Out goes the Flash Ross, able to pick up 1 in redemption, but No Excuse fighting it out with the Bear. The Bear is going to drop in that situation, and No Excuse the Troll. He's on a rampage at the moment. Kiora wants to but he's going to drop for it. No, he gets away just in time, but he can't save the bird. Kiora on the team fight. Imminent at this point. Out goes the Nevermore.
Tuberculosis
able to catch out the Bear. The Bear is half health. Ult the Clone in the front side. Out goes Call of the Forge God, and the flank of Call of the Forge God coming up big. But look at the Pyroclasm, gets off a lot of damage. Still though, it looks like it's a favor of challengers as Ult the Clone trying to run away from this one. One more shot will do it. Down he goes, and kill 1-for-1 exchange so far. Bubble Buddy goes forward, misses the Never move. He's trying to find Kiora, but can't seem to land the shots he needs to. Still, though, damage going on to Gandalf. Gandalf getting punished, getting destroyed. Kiora has been uncontested in this fight, but here comes Alcaroth running right in. He's excited, and he wants blood as he searches for the chicken, finds the kill, and once again Can the Bear do it?
Yes. Can the Bear
over the wall? He's unable to find it. Look on the other side. Bubble Buddy looking to get a lot of damage in, trying to get the flank. Has to go golden to be able to survive the onslaught that follows. Lots of damage going out, but he eventually does fall. Now here come the Rockets, the pain. Alcaroth, the quarterback of this team, bringing it.
And this should just be the final push, though.
Oh, they're going on to an engage. No Excuse takes a lot of punishment. Subjugate's gonna go out, gonna keep him alive, gonna make him tanky, but here comes the flank coming out of Bubble Buddy. Lots of damage. There goes the pop, and here comes Alcaroth. And that it just went as expected. Call the Forge God only gonna set up the inevitable as the Nexus Tower falls. The Nexus is next in a 2-0 sweep to come out of the challengers.